Absolutely. Hello again. It's been a while, but I do have a question for you. So you have been teaching for a long time, and I don't want you to take offense to that. You are very efficient at your job.
Go ahead.
Have you noticed the evolution in how the students think from when you were teaching in the past to now?
I watched some specials on education from Europe, and I think it's it's Finland that has the highest grades in math and science. And they do
And then I
things.
lived in Japan. They're up there, too.
In Japan as well
Yeah.
up there, right?
Yeah.
And they do things that we don't do. First of all, I think one of the hurdles for us in CCSD is starting at 7 in the morning. I think the students in high school would do better if they started at 9, and that's what they start in Finland at 9 o'clock.
Absolutely. I agree.
Right? I mean,
Yes, more sleep.
Yeah, and you
Agree.
see kids in the morning like they're fighting falling asleep, and I could relate to that, and I know where they're at. So that's gonna be a hurdle from going on. I think we need to be better at teaching critical thinking skills, and teaching. And anybody who's been in education will know this. They teach you how to ask questions in college. They call them DOK, which means depth of knowledge, and then there's 4 levels, and DOK 1 is like simple questions with dates and who was the first president and stuff like that, and you memorize them.
Bloom's taxonomy, right?
Right.
Memorization.
Right.
Yeah.
But DOK 3 and 4 is where there's actual critical thinking skills. And that's one of the reasons why I enjoy teaching AP Gov, and I enjoy doing We the People, and you would know this, Jerry. You got to be able to be quick on your feet, and you got to be deep in the content and be able to reason out an answer. And what if I do this? What are they going to do? What's going to happen if I do this? And what are the basically what's the end of this going to be? I was telling this to some of the kids. I might even said it in your class. I'm not sure that I had relatives in my family who were teachers, and they taught public school. So anytime there was a family function where you with your aunts and your uncles and your cousins, they'd ask you, and I was in 4th or 5th grade, like, well, what do you guys do in the math? What do you guys do in English? So I would tell them, well, this is what we're doing in the math, right? And they'd be surprised and say, well, you're doing 7th grade stuff in the 4th grade, right? And I didn't know I was doing 7th grade stuff in the 4th grade. It was just this is what we were doing, right? And they pushed you, and school I went to, passing was a 75%. If you got a 74%, you got left back. You got an average in, you got a grade in math. They taught religion, which was Catholicism. They taught religion. They taught geography. Geography and history were separate subjects. There was spelling, English, and you had 7 or 8 subjects, and you got a grade, an average a numerical average in each one, and then they would figure out your average, and you had to come up with a 75% in all your classes to go ahead. If you didn't get a 75%, you got a 74%, they left you back for the whole year.
Wow.
Wow, that's
It's
crazy.
high standards.
Right. But you learned.
Listen, we were speaking of international education, different approaches. Dr. Grillo, I wanted to present him with this letter. He knows about this, I know about this, but he has been invited, and here's the invitation letter, as well as myself, to speak in Italy during our spring break. We're going on our own dime, and he's going to talk about We the People. So, we could learn from different cultures or different education systems, like in Scandinavia, but I think your We the People and your expertise in it is going to help people over in Italy. So I wanted to present you with your invitation letter.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
It's a big step.
So we'll be going over there in March
Yeah.
March, okay.
to a high school in Sicily.
That's
Yours-
in Italy, right?
Yep, it's the. Do you know where it is geographically, Sicily?
It's the boot.
What's the rock? It's a rock
It's
that's getting
tidbit right
kicked
there.
by the boot, shaped like a triangle.
Oh, okay. I suck at
We both have ancestral ties there. My grandfather was born there. My great-grandparents, most of them. And
I have one of my grandparents is from Sicily, but all 4 of my grandparents are from Italy. Right? So this would be good for me. I've only been to Italy once, right? So this is my second time, and I'm glad to go. We have a lot in common. Could we just talk about something? Just anything is good.
Baseball?
Baseball.
Yeah. So I asked you the other day, we have the World Series is starting tomorrow. This is Thursday, October 24th. Tomorrow the World Series starts. Dodgers hosting the Yankees. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Grillo being from Brooklyn, I asked him yesterday, I said, Doc, were you a Brooklyn Dodgers fan?
Well,
because they were there. Were they there when you were a kid?
Yes. They left when I was 8. So my dad, growing up in Brooklyn had 3 major league teams in one city. You had the New York Giants, who are now the San Francisco Giants, the Brooklyn Dodgers, and now the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the New York Yankees. Right now, I'm a Met fan, but the Mets didn't come about until 1962. So from 1958, 59, 60, and 61, New York City did not have a National League entry. They had the Yankees, right? And my dad, being a Dodger to the bone, okay, hated the Yankees. When I say hate, I want to use that as, in sports terms. Right? And so first baseball game I ever watched and tried to understand was in 1960. And then I watched the 1960 World Series, which was the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Yankees. And then I became a baseball fan and watched a lot, right? But the first baseball game that I went to was the Yankee Stadium in 1961, the Cleveland Indians and the New York Yankees. We would go to Yankee Stadium and root for whoever the visiting team was, because you couldn't root for the Yankees, right? Mm-hmm. So, that got me into that. But sports has played a good part in my life. I kid around with Jerry, because she's a Montreal Canadian fan, first time I met Jerry, I says, you live in Las Vegas. How did you become a Montreal Canadian fan? Right. But
and how'd that happen?
Go ahead.
Well, my brother, he was really into sports growing up. He's actually a Patriots fan, so sorry, listeners. So I grew up kind of in that environment of not like, because we didn't have a football team yet, or he wasn't really into that. And so then once I, began looking and getting interested in sports, I saw a video about the Montreal Canadiens. I was like, they look cool. What's this about? And so then I ended up watching a game or two, and I just got hooked. And I love hockey. I think it's a really interesting sport that I would say is underrepresented at times, and people don't realize how hard work needs to be put into it, or how many guys are getting slammed against a glass, getting back up again, and keep pushing. That's hard work to do. And, I just love watching it.
Have you ever played?
No. I've watched games in person, but I've never slapped on some skates. Sorry. Have you seen hockey? Have you ever watched a hockey game?
No.
Gotta get on it, man.
One place Dr. Grillo and I are opposing is our hockey teams.
Yes.
I'm an Islanders fan. He's a Rangers fan, but that's okay.
In fact, I said to him last year, fooling around, there was a day when they were playing each other, and I said, no matter whoever wins, we're still friends.
Right.
And then there maybe you laugh because I forgot her first name. There's a girl in my 6th period class, and it was the first day of the year, and I was fooling around with the kids, asking them for giving capitals of states, and which I was a little bit surprised, but some knew, but most did not. So I said, capital of New Jersey, and she says Trenton, and I was impressed because most kids don't know that, right? I said, how did you know that, right? So she says, well, because my favorite hockey team is from there, because I'm a New Jersey Devil fan. And I was fooling around. I said, okay, we're going to fight. And I thought I was a Ranger fan. She gave me a bad look. They're fooling around. But if you live in New York, not to be a sports fan was rare, because you had 3 Major League Hockey teams in real close, 2 Major League Baseball teams, 2 Major League Football teams, NFL teams, 2 or 3 NBA entries. So sports was everywhere, right? So it was really easy to be a sports fan. Yeah.
Wow.
I should get into sports.
Yes, you should.
I just haven't, because my dad wasn't into sports. Me being his son, I followed in his footsteps.
Yeah, but you're about to be an adult. Let's put our, you want to
I got a couple months,
production
please.
too.
I am
a
a
journalist. You be a sports journalist. That'd be so much fun.
Well, I kind of do that already.
Yeah, do it in college.
I could do that. You're pretty smart.
I know, right? UNLV, they got some
and
serious
speaking
programs.
of sports broadcast, Dr. Grillo's the voice of the Canyon football team.
I got to tell you,
you got a story? Yeah, okay.
So it's 2008, and we had a good team. We had a very good team. Matter of fact, the quarterback of that team is going to be one of the people honored tonight at our game. And I was just hanging out outside of the press box, and one of my students was being the announcer, and he got physically sick there. I mean, he got nauseous and was really sick and had to leave the press box, and the game was going on, and nobody was saying anything, right? So I just grabbed the microphone, and I watched sports my whole life. I just announced gain of 6, 2nd and 4 on the 21, whatever the case might be. And then the principal at that point was Ronan Matthew, and he actually said, "I like what you did." And I've been the voice of Canyon Springs football since 2008 or 2009. So it gives me something to I enjoy it, right? It's light work, right? Coach Brown has become my right arm, because one of the frustrating things was...
Just speaking into the mic, sorry.
Yeah. One of the frustrating things was that everybody likes to have Jerry helped me one game, their number called and their name called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was actually,
nice.
Her and Sky, Coach Brown was out of town and couldn't, and I said, it's difficult to announce everything that's going on and get the numbers right, and they want the tackler and the ball carrier, and get everything right and announce it correctly. And I thank God, here comes Jerry into the press box. We're going to help. And they sat down and they did a great job. Right? So I've been doing it since 2008, 2009 season. So I enjoy it. It's a good thing.
It was really fun. I mean, you do have to pay attention. That's very, very important. And binoculars are a huge help. And Dr. Grillo, he's fun to be around. So it was a really good time.
But what's funny is that you got parents in the audience, and you don't announce their son if they do something good. They're upset. They want their son's name to be announced, right? So then sometimes it's hard to mispronounce the names. So that's something you got to deal with and so on like that. Yeah. But I enjoy it.
Speaking with Mr. Canfield this week, we had a couple of people audition for the podcast. We're going to continue on with that throughout the year. So if anybody out there in podcast land listening, any of our listeners, viewers, want to become a host of this podcast, please reach out to us and we'll audition you. And we have a rubric. It's like a grade, and we're going to decide and announce it at the end of the year. I think, that makes it really fair across the board for everyone.
Yes.
So far, we had a couple of candidates who came in, and we'll assess them along with everybody else. Now, do you have anyone in mind for the future?
I do.
Okay.
She's a sophomore now, and I think she'll be a good fit. She has that personality for it, and she has a nice voice for the radio or for our podcast.
Good.
I'll scan video production because we definitely got some sleepers in there.
I mean, you have a booming radio voice. Right now, I don't know why you're not making money doing voiceovers.
I have social anxiety. If you want my honest answer, I stay in my house a lot. That's the truth.
You could do it in your house.
Yeah,
Just
you
get
can.
Like one of the little box rooms.
We're going to talk.
Okay.
Because there's ways to do it from your house where they send you the script and you read it and you never have to meet these people.
Okay. I would encourage you, because I'm glad he brought that up, because I had that thought. I said, you have a good voice.
Yeah.
Good radio
when I
voice
first saw him and heard him speaking about chickens.
Our first episode. Oh my gosh.
In the audio-visual room, the studio, I said, wow, who's that guy?
Well, without that interview, I would not be here.
Yeah.
So now you got a demo reel. And Jerry, you too. You go to college, continue on, maybe work at I don't know if anybody listens to the radio anymore, but they have university or college radio stations, TV.
They have a pretty good one at UNLV.
Nice studio. I've been in it.
It's really big. Have you seen it?
No, I've not.
You should take a trip down there.
I should. I've been to UNLV. I've toured it, but I've never been to that part of the campus.
We're going to take a short break because the computer could crash at any time.
And we don't want that, guys.
All right, we'll be back.
All right. Apologies for that. We are now back, but thank you for coming along, Dr. Grillo. It was a pleasure having you, and I hope we can see you for episode 2.
I'd be pleased to come back.
Well, that sounds like we're getting to episode 2. I'm so glad that worked out.
Nice transition there.
Absolutely. But listen, Canyon Springs Pioneers, we will see you on the second episode. Stay positive. Keep having that Pioneer pride, and have a good day.
Toodles.
Ciao.